Okay, now that we have debugged the basic function block, it's now time to create an application, use an instance of this block, and add and deploy it to a device. We will use a soft runtime in this case, as we are just getting started. Okay, let's do that. Open up NxtStudio. Go to recent projects and open your solution. Okay, as you can see, an app is already created for us. It's called app1 when you open it. And it asks for firewall permissions. Go ahead and give permissions. And you can see that right now it just shows it has one device, which is of type NXT RMT Dev version 1. We will come to different device types and different resource types a bit later in this tutorial. For now, let's go ahead and create applications. As you can see, the application by default is created for us. You can rename it by either right-clicking and saying rename or pressing once, clicking once on that. So let's call it first app. And you save it, and you will see that it's created. Now, under the network tab, it's empty because you have not instantiated any function blocks. So let's go ahead. One way to do that is drag this and drop it here. So that will instantiate one instance of the calculator function block. We can name it calculator. So you can give any name you want to the instance. Other way to add function block instances is using a shortcut, which is Control-W, and it opens up a small window where you can type the name of the function block or the type name of the function block. In our case, it's calculator. So if you say calculator, it will show that we have the calculator function block. So clicking on it, it will also show where it is coming from. It's coming from your own solution. If you use some other standard library function blocks, then it will show from which standard library it is coming. In the next lesson, we will see how to use standard library function blocks. And there we go. But for this case, we just need one instance, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this. Okay, now that we have added a function block instance to the application, we should be able to run it. But before we can run, we need to tell this function block on which device it has to run. So how do we do that? We right-click on the block, we go to mapping and select the resource and device combination to which you want to map this. Once you do that, and then you go to your device and resource hierarchy, you will see that the instance is mapped to that resource. Now, by default, when the device is run or the application is deployed onto a device, you can ask it to initialize and be ready. If you don't want to do that, if you want to do that manually using some other options, you can do so. In that case, you don't connect this. Okay, let's save this. Go to devices. Now, the soft runtime is not running, so you need to first run it. There are a couple of ways you can run it. The easiest way is, which I'm going to show here, is switching this profile to local test. This is important because if you don't do that and then you do right click, you don't see an option where you could start the soft PLC. So if you do local test and then you do right click, you can see this start soft PLC option. Let's go ahead and click that. This will open up, of course. If it asks for network firewall permissions, give it access. And now there's a soft runtime running on this device. So here is different configurations that you can do. You can give an IP address. By default, it's this one. And then it needs some port numbers where different sub-applications or sub-daemons of this projects are running. For example, where to deploy, on which port are the HMI communications happening, on which ones are watch happening. I'll show you what this watch is pretty soon. Okay, our soft runtime is running. We can go ahead and deploy it. Okay, it says deploy successfully finished, and because it's in a test mode, it says that it can only run for so many minutes because you have only a limited license. Okay, how do we know if whether it's running or not? And that we will see in the next lesson. We will conclude this lesson here.